So this evening on this fine summer's night, we're down on the banks of the River Trent. We're at the Leander Rowing Club. The rowing club has been here for over 150 years. In fact, it's their 164th year, and we've come down to see how the operation actually works. John and I, that's my cameraman that you can't see. Well, we're going to take our life in our hands, and we're going to actually get in the launch and go down the river with two of the oldest rowers. So that could be quite an experience for us. And we're going to try and find out a little bit about what makes the club tick and why people who should really know better are still rowing at, shall we say, a fairly senior age. So the first thing I really need to do is check out the equipment. I've got one of the senior men with me, Ken Moore. Good evening, Ken.
Good evening. Now,
this is the equipment we're on about. I know absolutely nothing about boats. Firstly, is that the right term? Is it a boat?
Yeah, this is a sculling boat, but there's various types of boats in the club. We're talking sculling boats and pairs that have two people in, or we have fours, and then there's obviously the very big boats, which are eights. Something like 64 foot long, and they carry 8 people. But basically, this is a sculling boat. Yeah, so this is the one that I do most of my work in.
Now, the first thing I've noticed, just getting down here, is it ain't very big. It's a bit on the narrow side. Now, that had worried me that it doesn't look very comfortable. You're not exactly in first class mode there, are you, really? Has anybody ever fallen in first time? Have you?
Oh yeah. I mean, basically, when you first start, it's equivalent to sort of being on a tightrope. You know, it's very unbalanced. But with beginners, we don't put them in that position because we put them out in wider boats, which are very much more stable. And then with the youngsters, the juniors, and that sort of thing, we put stabilisers on, so the boat can't possibly tip over. And then as they get better, you know, as they progress through the rowing style, we just raise the floats up a little bit so they get more confidence. And then after a few weeks, they progress very quickly, but then after a few weeks we can get rid of the stabilisers and they're away. So, okay, people do fall in, and that's why we always ask people to swim first.
It's helpful if you can swim then, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, we won't let anybody go out unless they can swim. And then with the youngsters, we take them over to the baths with a sculling boat, and we tip them in full kit. And then they've got to recover the boat and recover themselves under control situations. So safety is one of the most important things, really. We wouldn't let anybody go out where they were at risk. So, you know, basically, it's a pretty safe sport. And there's always safety launches out when the kids are out, you know. So no problems, really.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting in that safety launch. I'm going to leave you to get ready. I'm sure we will actually see you get in the boat. And
sure.
We'll see you out on the river. I'm going to take a wander down now to Graham and see how he's getting ready. Thanks. Graham with us is almost a junior, I suppose. He's only 59 years old. Is that right, Graham?
Yeah, it is right.
First time you've ever bragged about that, isn't it?
It's the first time.
But
just say quickly, it don't sound quite so bad.
Ken has obviously got a few years on you, but
correct.
But hey ho. Now let's talk a bit about this particular boat.
Right.
Looks a bit flashier than Ken's. I think if I was going to go for one, I'd go for the white with the black stripe.
Absolutely,
a bit more like it. But so, what sort of money do I need for this boat?
For this particular boat, we're talking about £3.5 grand. But you can spend as much up to 10.5. You know,
£10.5 grand
yeah,
for
a really good.
Get a nice Mondeo for that price.
You certainly could, yeah. It's a lot more comfortable as well.
Well, I was just going to come to that point actually. So, again, I talked about the width of the boat, which is a worry, but getting in it again is a worry. But yeah, the seat sort of goes up. Just demonstrate the movements.
Yeah, the movement of the seat is obviously a sliding seat, because a lot of people tend to feel in rowing that you use their arms, but actually, as you'll see later on, it's legs. So we actually use a feet are in these shoes, or stretchers we call it, and we just drive off that stretcher, which sends the seat backwards, obviously.
Has the thing ever come off its runners?
Yes, it can do. If you
Does it just lift off as well?
It doesn't lift off. These actually
yeah.
are quite fixed.
Yeah.
But on some of the boats they can slide off. But generally, if you fit them in properly, they're absolutely fine.
Now I can see you've got an expensive boat. Oars. How much are those? Is that the right term, by the way?
Yeah, well, blades we call them.
Blades.
We call them blades.
Right.
But we can use the term oars as well.
Yeah.
But generally, so for a set of sculling blades, these are sculling blades, you're talking up to about £400.
£400. Now, this is a ridiculous question, but your shoes are still in the boat. What's all that about? Are they fixed in?
They are fixed in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. It's just that they've just developed over the years. Years ago, they'd just be 2 bits of strap holding your feet in. It's just a matter of something to hold your feet in to the boat.
And here's me thinking that you're worried about getting your trainers nicked. But there we are. Right, so I think without further ado, we know the cost of everything, which frightens me to death.
Yeah.
Get yourself ready.
Okay.
You and Ken are going to go out there. We're going to join you.
Right.
And we'll have a chat to you whilst you're going along.
Okay.